Hello everybody, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners along with Bob Iacchino. So what do we got going in Bitcoin Cash? Bitcoin Cash running up, hitting all the targets, spiking up to the $12.99, nice round at 1300 level just below it. You got to pay attention to those numbers in the cryptos. Pulling back to rotation zone, catching on it, and rotating back up. We're watching to see if it can get above this properly drawn trend line, and then that will be an entry for a watch for first level return to 1277, then the 1300 level where we have the minor cluster, 1320 next level, then 1339. Those are the key levels. The upside watch, we don't want to close below the 21 EMA, which right now is 1230, because then we'd have to hold off. Then we go back to more reassessing. Next support, if it does close below there, is 1214, and then we have a major cluster down at 1193. So let's check in on the daily chart, see how it all stands on the daily. And we're spiking up into the rotation zone, dropping back down. So it has not been able to even get a close in the rotation zone yet. This is major resistance overhead, and you see at this 1319, 1320 level, that's where the top of the rotation zone is. So if we do rally up there, that's a great place to at least move up your stops. Do not ignore that level. Switching over to Bitcoin Gold. Bitcoin Gold has this sloppy double bottom here, which would require a close or an extended move above 122.46. So watch for that. So far, we got the first cross rotation zone, pulling back to rotation zone and rotating back up. That would give the targets of 130, 134, 135 area, then the lowest probability target because it's cutting into the wicks, 139.05, and I'd actually be looking at the 138.50 area cluster. Now, that again has to extended move or close above 122.46. Also, this could rotate back up, and if it did close below here, we could trigger a very small double top. So keep that in mind, which would probably be a pullback to right around this 110 level. It's too early to do the targets on that. Let's see where we stand in the bigger picture. Also, don't ignore this declining 200 right now at the stop reduction level, but it's going to come in roughly, it's going to keep dropping to about this 129 level. That's going to be some key resistance, so that would be an even better area to move up a stop. Let's check on the daily chart. It's got to get through the rotation zone, so keep that in mind too. Slightly lower probability because we got the rotation zone on the way. At least we're pulled into the rotation zone on Bitcoin Gold, but that's going to be some major resistance. Looking like, what's that coming in about 125, and where was that 200? That 200 was coming in about 130, 128. So about 125 to 128 is going to be very, very key resistance for Bitcoin Gold. And what you don't want is a close back below the rotation zone, because that means it couldn't sustain it, which is about 116 right now. If it did close back below this, we'd be watching for a potential pullback to about the 110 level. Switching over to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, here's a couple concepts. Here's what we talked about. I mentioned it would either pull back to rotation zone or move sideways and let the 8 catch up. Here's an example right here of moving sideways, letting the 8 catch up, then breaking out, hitting our next key Gann levels higher all the way up to 10,804, then pulling back, basing sideways again, letting the 8 catch up. So that was off the backwards reverse box. Now we have a forward box, which gives us, we have a huge cluster about 11,064 to 079. So that's a very key area. Watch for, and then above that, 11,270. On a pullback, first key support now is coming in at 10,486, and then major support coming in around 10,285 with the rising bottom of the rotation zone. And again, you don't want to see a close below the rotation zone on that on the 4 hour. On the daily, so we're above the rotation zone. We're finally getting some separation. And again, that 10,000, let's call it 300, we're going to get the rising 8 into there. This final level does take us just above the end of the clear path into the wicks. So you might want to watch about 11,206 to 11,270. And that would be another great area to raise your stop level. Also a cluster coming in about 11,450. Somebody left a question in there. What I didn't fully understand your question. I have on here a retracement level on both forwards and backwards because I'm looking for clusters to come in. So this was the last major sell-off. and this gives us the 0.125, 0.25, 0.375 all the way up. And then this was the purple one is from this low to the most recent high, which gives me key pullback levels. And between the two, we watch for GAN clusters because things still rotate both on sell-offs and recoveries. They'll rotate beyond these levels. So we're just watching for the major cluster areas because those are great areas to either take profits or watch for key resistance then for pullback levels. So that's how we're doing that on a lot of our cryptos. We've been doing that for many years, stocks, futures, and forex. So it works equally as well in the cryptos. That's what we have for you on Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, and Bitcoin, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Bye for now.